The price action for XRP hasn't been great over the last couple of days, but I want to discuss with you today how XRP might be seeing $10 sooner than you guys think, or even significantly higher. We're going to be discussing this, but I want you guys to remember that nothing in the videos is financial advice because, of course, I am not a financial advisor. And let's jump straight into today's video. Right now, we have XRP sitting at $2.80. I did add to my position right here of my XRP trade. We have our stop losses in place, so I can't really lose much money on this, but I am willing to lose a little bit in case we head lower from here. You can see where my stop losses start to trigger. It's below these points by down here. So if we have a little bit of a pullback, we will be seeing some red, but I have these points measured out, what I'm comfortable in losing in this trade. Now, right now we have quite a large position open because I do think there could be a big move for XRP to come very soon. So if you guys do want to set up yourself a position, we only have 2 days left of the XRP spinner game over on Blowfin, where you can win up to 1,000 XRP. And you don't just get one spin, you can get many spins. All you need to do is sign up to my link down there to Blowfin, sign up. And one of the keys to Blowfin is you can trade without KYC, no personal details, no VPN. You can do it all the while here. And right now you can also use their copy trading feature, which I am currently testing out. I've actually increased my position recently here on the Quantoshi copy trade. It's been doing relatively well so far, and I'm hoping it continues to do. But remember, I'm taking a risk with my own money here. So you guys, if you want to do something similar, you can use the links down there in my description. You can find the same trader, but you need to sign up under my link. If you haven't signed up under my link, you can also fill out the form so you guys can check this out for yourself. But please make sure you do your own research. Now, with that said, if we do take a look at Bitcoin's price, I did make a video on my other channel recently about how we're losing a little bit of the price strength. Now, what I meant by that was we're coming up here and we hit 97,700. Since then, we have come back. But if we take a closer look by just taking a quick look at a different chart I have drawn out here, I actually drew this line of resistance just a couple of days ago. And what's interesting is we seem to be coming down to retest this previous resistance zone. So this could be simply a bullish retest of previous resistance. I'd wait patiently here, though, as I would expect there to be some sort of downward volatility to grab the liquidity. There'll be liquidity sitting here due to this being a resistance. And by liquidity, I mean stop losses, liquidations, emotional capitulation. It will also sit in this region and in this region, which also coincides with this liquidity or fair value gap sitting here. So we may come down to retest the high 80s or low 90s before heading upwards. Now, the reason why I say there's a probability of doing that is there is still a lot of leverage in the market. And most of this leverage is betting that Bitcoin's price is actually going to go up from here. You can see we have significantly more long positions in the market than we do have shorts, and this normally goes along with there being a pullback to liquidate these long positions before heading higher, because even if Bitcoin's price does go higher, if my thesis around there being manipulators and liquidators in this market, they don't want anyone but themselves to make money. So what they do is, if we take a look at Bitcoin's chart, they bounce the price around 2 points, which liquidates both long and short traders who are trading with too much leverage, and then they let it go up, and then we have a pullback, and then basically the same thing can happen on these drastic pullbacks, especially if there are fair value gaps and zones where traders put their stop losses. So what I'm basically doing is I tend to trade against what retail are doing, and right now it is telling me that we could have some more downside. That's why I have my stop losses below that zone, but also I will add to this position if we get these pullbacks in the trade, right? So with that said, we do also have trades in SUI and Bitcoin over here, which both are doing relatively well. And these are opportunities we had a couple of days ago to take profits. That's why I took some profits from the Bitcoin trade. And remember, my strategy here is I also trade leverage with the projects I actually also believe in. That way, when we see quick moves to the upside in the short term, I don't need to consider taking profits from my spot bag, but I can take profits from my leverage bag without affecting what I actually believe in, which is in my spot bag, right? So on top of that, when we do get sustained moves to the upside, parabolic rises. I do also take from my spot bags, right? We saw that with XRP, and I'm going to continue to do that if we get a push to the upside. Now, Crypto Insights UK has posted a new newsletter here where he thinks, or it says there's a potential of XRP going above $10. So I'll leave a link to his Twitter, but if you do want to check out, it's Crypto Insight UK, and you can check out his new newsletter over here. And basically, he's deep diving into how XRP could go to $10 at a minimum this bull run. So on a technical level, this looks like the stochastic RSI and standard RSI look to be setting up similarly to what we saw before our first impulsive move in November 2024. Bitcoin's liquidity is also looking similar to what we saw before it pushed up last. So Bitcoin has been raging for a while, and two areas of dense liquidity have been building above us. As you can see, the majority of Bitcoin's price appreciation happened over a 28-day period. During this time, Bitcoin gained 46%. We broke out of the range and smashed through the liquidity. So you can see here, he's outlined XRP and Bitcoin candles. You can see that this period is where we also saw the majority of the gain for XRP's price. XRP actually went up over 470%. So if that was to happen again, XRP could go to $12.60. Now, people could argue that the market cap is now larger, so it's not accurate to compare percent gains. To this, I would say let's look at the dominance chart during XRP's surge and compare that to XRP's dominance, right? Dominance up there. We can see Bitcoin lost about 9% dominance during this surge for XRP, and XRP gained about 3.5%. So what we're seeing is a similarity and connection between XRP and Bitcoin's price. And like we always say, and the reason why I talk about Bitcoin on these videos about XRP is because I think the prices are very closely linked. I don't want to just read his entire newsletter verbatim, so I would suggest going to Crypto Insights UK on Twitter and signing up for this yourselves and reading the rest. But he expects this, if the same thing similar plays out, this would give XRP's price of over $12 if we see history repeat and Bitcoin's dominance revisit the bottom range as highlighted in this chart above. So he does actually think XRP could go higher than this and Bitcoin all the way up to $180,000. So very, very nice, right? The higher end of this, if all this happens, he believes up to $25 as well. So very exciting time. Now, looking at Apple, we can see that they've just lifted the restrictions allowing Bitcoin payments and ends the 30% tax. In fact, it's not just Bitcoin, it's also crypto payments. So there could be something beneficial for XRP in this as well. Time will tell, but having this lifted, which means basically crypto transactions can happen in Apple Store, so they're not just taking their lion's share. It may mean that more and more apps can now accept crypto, which will help the rails of retail come into crypto. We also have BlackRock's official recommendation of allocation of Bitcoin is 2%. This would actually mean that if $900 trillion in assets, the world has $900 trillion in assets, and if 2% of that went into Bitcoin, it'd be 900K per coin. Now, why is this relevant to XRP's price? Well, if Bitcoin went up 10x, this would mean that the market cap of crypto went up significantly, and XRP being the third largest crypto in the whole market, it would probably end up going significantly higher as well. So a 10x in Bitcoin could be a 10x in XRP, it could be a 5x, or it could be significantly more. XRP may go up significantly more from here, and a 10x in XRP would put it at about a $20 price point. And I know you guys are very sure that it's going to go significantly higher, a lot of you guys, but of course this is over a long period of time. This isn't going to happen overnight, and I'm only talking about the market cap of Bitcoin and how that might affect XRP's price and the other cryptos. Of course, other things will affect XRP. If this whole Swift storyline is true, it will affect the price, so it could go significantly higher. Now, we also have a whale who just went long on Bitcoin with $136 million at 40x leverage. So Obviously, there are people that are planning for a big parabolic move to the upside. That is why I have my positions set and ready to go. If we do have a pullback here, I will bolster these positions. Hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to get some more SUI or Bitcoin, or maybe even add a new position. So again, guys, if you guys do want to trade on a platform where you don't need to provide any personal details, and you can trade from anywhere in the world, and you can get yourself up to 1,000 XRP per spin on this game. There's only 2 days left, so you may as well just sign up. You may as well read the terms of service so you understand what you're getting involved in. But if you are an advocate of XRP, I personally asked Bluefin to provide me this opportunity for you guys. So if you do want to make the best of this, the link is down there in the description.